Bonjour, Tansegia.
Hey, how are ya?
It's a smudge for your thoughts.
With Cohesive.
And Zosha.
I always have to do that one.
Yeah, right? If you don't see what's happening, you should watch the videos. They're on
It's
our
not
YouTube.
much,
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm just kidding.
Whatever. But it's on our YouTube page if you just want to check us out. But anyways, on today's episode, we are talking to Rebekah. It's a pretty good episode. You should listen. I mean, you already are, so I don't want to say that.
You should keep listening.
Keep listening.
We talked to Rebekah about her her work in designing ribbon skirts and face mat. Well, we don't talk to her about the face masks. That's a part 2. That'll be coming out different time. We talked to her about staying connected to culture. We talked about that a lot. So anyway, it's a really good listen. You should listen.
Mm-hmm. Continue listening, you mean?
Continue listening.
Hope ya have fun.
Okay, bye.
So let's start off this by introducing you, your name,
How you identify yourself?
how you identify yourself, what tribe, or tribes, or whatever you identify as yourself as.
Okay. Tante, my name is Carrie Sweetgrasswoman Rebekah Jarvey. I'm an enrolled member of the Chippewa Cree tribe in Rocky Boy, Montana, and also a Blackfeet descendant. And I identify myself as a female, she, her.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. That's
Was
good.
that good like
Yeah,
that?
that was
great.
that.
Okay.
Was perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's always good to say your pronouns too. I think we should get more comfortable with doing that in general nowadays because we can't ever assume,
Yeah,
what
but
people's
it's
pronouns
funny
are,
because
so.
we were teasing because my driver's license says I'm a male.
Oh, wait,
Oh.
really?
When I moved back to Montana, and I never caught it until I got got caught speeding, and then the patrol officer is like, "Are you a female?" And I was like,
You're
"Oh
like,
my god,
you're
yeah."
like, why would he ask that?
Yeah, and it's
That's
funny
funny.
because I never changed my driver's license yet.
That's funny.
That is really funny.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So, one of these days when I'm like not doing anything, I need to go change my driver's license.
That is really
to
funny.
female. Yeah.
Whenever the tribe's not in lockdown and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You guys are in lockdown, but you don't
Oh,
live
no,
on the,
you live off the res.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
live off
I
the
live
res there.
off the res like 3 miles.
I saw that someone like called you
Yeah.
out or like
Yeah,
turned you in. I
they
mean,
had they had the incident command call me and just, oh my god, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
okay, so we can move on to the next question. So what do you do for a living, or passion or hobby? But
Okay, so yeah, my day job, I'm the HR generalist at the Chippewa Cree tribe, and I'm also a gaming commissioner for the Northern Winds Hotel and Casino, and I'm the secretary for the Eagle Corps Community Organization. So that's like my day job and a couple of committees that I'm on, and my hobby are, well, I guess I call it more than a hobby, but my passion is beading and sewing and like designing, and I make ribbon skirts and ribbon shirts, face masks, beadwork. And so that is what my business is in. Rebekah Jarvey, that's the name of my business. And yeah, so that's
That's what you do. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
sorry, I
your.
kind of got tongue tied there at the end, but
Oh, that's
It's all
okay.
good. So, with
Wait, sorry. On the same note as your passion, could we see some of your ribbon skirts?
oh yeah,
Or do you
okay.
want to do it
So
later? I
I
don't know. We can do it.
have one ribbon skirt
Okay.
to show you guys, and
Okay. I'd love
so the story behind this ribbon skirt is like I put it on my list to do for 2020 is to make myself a ribbon skirt because like out of all the ribbon skirts I made, I hardly made myself any within the past couple of years. And so I'm like, well, I really need to make myself a ribbon skirt for 2020. And this material I had, I had it for a couple of years. And the ribbon skirt was already cut out and I already had like ribbons for it. Like it just needed to be put together, you know? So I was like, okay, I'll put it together. And I changed like the whole ribbon pattern and everything. And I appliqued my son in his fancy dance outfit on it. And
my
so
gosh.
it's my favorite skirt. And I kind of used the skirt as a model for my business. And so like my business logo is like this skirt. And so it really means a lot to me. It has my son on it and he's a fancy dancer. It's just like a silhouette of a fancy dancer.
okay.
And
Okay.
I'll move the camera.
Royce, right?
So
Oh,
so
that's
there
so
he
cool.
is.
That's great.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
gosh,
then
that's
beautiful.
I have like the ribbon hanging on the side, the
Yes.
neon colors. And
I
so
love
yeah.
the floral too with it.
Thanks. Yeah, that material is you know, I really like the pink. Well, pink is my favorite color, so that
Mine
was
too.
yeah, the material. Yes, everything is pink. So and like like usually in my stuff like everything has like a meaning or something behind it. And the colors of the skirts or of this skirt particular doesn't really have any meaning, just that, you know, my son's on there. And I like bright colors. I like neon colors because when I was younger, my mom wouldn't let me wear bright colors or neon colors, especially for my dancing outfits. Like I always wanted to have like a shiny applique outfit, and my mom wouldn't let me. I was always like dressed in turquoise or browns or yellows or, you know, like
more traditional kind of
yeah,
colors.
more traditional colors. And I always wanted to like wear like shiny bright neon colors. And so now that I'm older, I choose to have like my business logo and everything in bright colors. And just I guess as a being rebellious against my mom, because I could be like, okay, I'm older now and I could do whatever I want and I could use bright colors. So that's the story behind of like you'll see with my logos, they have bright colors, or a lot of my ribbon skirts I make are like with a lot of neon colors, just because, you know, I love being flashy and I love how they stand out together.
Yeah. And yeah, like I know your logo is like polka dot, like pink polka dots and like lime green or neon green, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
neon greens and pinks.
I love
yeah,
that.
and
Yeah.
polka dots as well.
Nice
I
and
like
bright.
polka dots a lot. Yeah.
Flashy.
So a lot of our listeners won't know
That's what I
what
was gonna say, too.
what ribbon skirts are.
Oh, okay.
Or anything. Could you to like describe what that is and
like the significance.
the significance behind it? Any
like
information you have
for non-indigenous or indigenous people that may not.
Yeah, definitely. So ribbon skirts, they became trendy, like I guess within the past 10 years. But our woman, our indigenous woman, always wore ribbon skirts. And my tribe in particular, the Cree and the Chippewa, the women didn't wear ribbon skirts. They wore skirts, but they didn't have ribbon on them. They had like a little bit of sequins, or they were just plain. And so and I'm also Blackfeet, and the Blackfeet women, they did wear ribbons on their ribbon skirt with a lot of ribbons. And so the reason why the women wore ribbon skirts a long time ago, it was an act of humbleness and modesty in front of the elders, in front of the children, in front of other men. the women didn't want to show their legs, so they wore skirts to cover up their legs. And like I said, it was like an act of modesty that our women practiced. So that's like the story behind why women wore ribbon skirts or wore skirts, dresses. Is it was an act of modesty. And as the years go on, like the ribbon skirts get more flashier and fancier. Like I was talking about, my mom wouldn't let me wear flashy colors when I was young, but now that I'm older, I wear flashy colors and put them on ribbon skirts because that wasn't traditional. This is like a more modern take on ribbon skirts, is the colors being bright and the applique. Like long time ago in the early 19th century, early 1900s, late 1800s, most women didn't have access to sewing machines. And so, there wasn't like a whole bunch of fancy applique skirts because there wasn't no sewing machines. So that's a little history behind the ribbon skirt and how it came about. And as a woman, Indigenous woman that makes ribbon skirts, we're starting to modernize wearing them. Before, there was kind of like a stigma wearing ribbon skirts to certain events or wearing them out. Like people would tease you or look at you funny. But now in 2020, as a proud Indigenous woman, I'm happy to wear my ribbon skirt to events like graduations, different types of events, and modernize wearing a ribbon skirt that, I'm proud and I'm happy in that we're still here today as Indigenous people.
Yeah, that's really great. I mean, that's showing people that our styles like change over time, just like anybody else's. I mean, we're not stuck in the past. We're here. We're modernizing
and modernize and still like stay relevant in your culture and like practice.
Change with the times.
Yeah, definitely, changing with the times, but also still keeping that, tradition of practicing wearing ribbon skirts and being modest in front of men and elders and children. And, but it doesn't have to be like boring or, it could be fun and, to make it your style.
Yeah, express yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
I noticed, like, I see a lot of people on Instagram and stuff, and Facebook, like, rocking their ribbon skirts more. So, like, I mean, I, only recently started becoming aware of ribbon skirts since I started dating Tony. But, like, in general, it's really awesome to see people just really representing it.
Yeah, and so you also make ribbon shirts for your son and everybody else there in your family, too?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I make ribbon shirts as well, for like my son. And this past summer I made ribbon skirts and ribbon shirts all matching for the Cree immersion class, the Cree immersion graduation class. Cool. And so awesome. It was fun to see, those little guys and girls all dressed up, and you could see them like touching their ribbon shirts and ribbon skirts. Cause some of them, that was like their first time being exposed to that. And so I'm really happy that our local school, exposes them to that and help them get the ribbon skirts and ribbon shirts.
Yeah, so I, growing up, I would wear ribbon shirts to underneath my regalia and dance for traditional dancing and chicken dancing. I would wear a ribbon shirt as part of that. You use your ribbon skirts in your regalia as well? You're a fancy dancer, right?
Yeah, I'm a fancy dancer, and we have ribbon skirts as well when we fancy dance. My ribbon skirts and my fancy dance outfits are still, it's funny because my fancy dancing outfits, they're like real traditional colors, they're like, there's no flashiness to them. So I don't know. I guess that that's still with me of like my
Yeah.
dancing and my teachings,
Yeah.
like how my mom taught me.
Uh-huh.
So like my fancy dance outfit, they're pretty like they're not as flashy or not all kinds of ribbons and no neon colors on them. Not like my not like my everyday wear or yeah. So yeah, the women, they wear ribbon skirts when they fancy dance or when they traditional dance. When they jingle dress dance, the only difference is they have jingles on the outfit or on the skirt. Yes.
Nice.
So, I mean, we're not gonna have you describe all of those dance styles because I
That's
want to
a lot,
encourage people that
Really
are
learn.
listening to go out there and learn for yourselves.
Yeah.
So, I want to move on a little bit past this and ask you about. You didn't really mention it, but you have a fashion show that
Yes.
Oh,
you
yeah.
do. So,
Yes.
if you could just talk about that for us.
Yeah, definitely. So this past year was the fourth fashion show that I coordinated, and it's been so fun and such a great learning experience. Back in 2017, I was working at the local college, Stonechild College. It's our local community college, and for the listeners that don't know, a lot of the reservations have community colleges on them, and so it's a place for our people to go and learn and get an education. And so I was working there at the community college, and for it was Native American Week, and well, we were getting ready for Native American Week. And here in Rocky Boy, we celebrate Native American Heritage Week, one whole week out of the year, and it's just a whole week of activities, and that we're proud and we're happy to be Chippewa Cree. And so I'm just like my passion is fashion, and I thought it would be cool to have a fashion show. And I was actually approached too by people because I just moved back to the res, and a lot of people knew like I was always into fashion, and they would ask me. And so I was like, yeah, definitely, let me see what I can do. And so I organized my first fashion show in 2017, and it turned out to be a huge success. And the community liked it, and there was a great response from everybody. And so it just continued there, and I developed into something bigger than me, and bigger than what I ever imagined. And like I said, this year was the fourth year of the fashion show. So every year we have a theme. Since the fashion show, we developed the theme. So like the first year, like I said, I wasn't sure, if it was going to be continue, and it was just like a great learning curve. And then the second year, the theme was the pink edition. You know why? Because my favorite color is pink. Yeah. And then the third year, it was Wild West Weekend. So it was Cowboys and Indians. The third year, that was the theme. And the fourth year, which was this year, it was virtual because of, the pandemic. And so this year's theme was Mascot Well-Being Indigenous.
Love
And
it.
so, yeah, you could find the fashion show, this year's fashion show on powwowtimes.com. They have the fashion show on there. And then you could find last year's fashion show on my YouTube account, Rebekah Jarvey.
Nice.
All right, and we'll post that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. That sounds good.
I think I thought I saw this year's on YouTube as well, or maybe it was on Powwow Times.
Yeah,
I forget where I watched it now.
It was on Powwow Times.
Okay.
I didn't know, like I said, stupid technology. I couldn't upload it on my YouTube because you have to post so many videos before you could post something like a big length. So
Interesting.
So that's why I couldn't post it on my YouTube. So that's why like Powwow Times, they're like an established YouTube. And I was like thousands of subscribers. And I didn't mind either, as much as, I mean, I like it that the fashion show is getting that publicity, and a lot of people are viewing it through Powwow Times. So
for people, I guess, what is it? What is the name of the fashion show? Just so people can like search it.
Oh,
isn't it?
Yeah. So the name of the fashion show is Honor Our Legacy. And Honor Our Legacy, that name that came from my grandma. my grandma Chicky, she did some beadwork for my mom in the 70s, in the late 70s, and my mom finished that beadwork like in the 80s. And so that beadwork was like kept with us in our family, and my mom passed that beadwork down to me, and it's florals, it's beaded florals in a circle. And so that's the logo of the fashion show, and that's why it's called Honor a Legacy, because a fashion show, because in our community long time ago, each family had their own designs and their own colors, and you would know which family that was just by their designs and their colors. And so my vision was for the fashion show for the youth and the teens to learn about their family colors and designs, and perhaps wear the beadwork or the ribbon skirts or ribbon shirts onto the runway, and to be proud as Indigenous, as a Chippewa Cree person. So that's my vision of the fashion show. The fashion show is a two-piece fashion show. It is really unique from other fashion shows, and how that is the first part of the fashion show is a competition. And so anybody could enter.
Mhm.
I have different age groups, and so they enter, and like I said, that gets them interested in fashion, and also having that confidence of wearing Indigenous items and being proud of who they are,
Mm.
and they could win money. And so there's three places in each category, and like my loves is powwow, and so I kind of
Mhm.
have it like broken down like a powwow. Like there's the seniors, the women's, the teens, and the juniors.
Mhm.
And so that's how I have it broken down. And then the second part of the fashion show is the showcase, the designer showcase. So that's where invited designers come, and they showcase their beautiful artwork, their designs, and I usually have like local girls model for them and wear their designs. And so that's the fashion show. It's a two-piece fashion show. The first part, it's competitive, and the second part, it's a designer showcase.
Love
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, I
Yes.
saw some of the designers that were a part of it this year, and I was like, oh, I love it. Like I
Yeah,
forget the
I
name
was
of the
so
one I was looking
happy.
at now, but yeah, they were really awesome. Really
There,
good.
yeah, I was so happy because I got to I put out a designer call this year,
Uh-huh.
and the response was amazing.
So
I was so
great.
Mm.
happy with all the designers that wanted to be a part of it, because most of the fashion shows this year were canceled, and so they
Mm.
didn't get to go to fashion shows and show off their pieces. And so a lot of them were really happy because this was one of the first fashion shows where they got to be a part of it, and they were safe,
Hmm.
and they got to show off and show their pieces to the world. and,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and so that's
Do
why we got a good
oh,
response.
yeah. Yes, it's virtual, so they can stay safe. Do you could you like shout out a couple of the names of them so like some people could maybe look them
Oh
up?
yeah, so I was so happy. One of the fashion designers that I like look up to, and they got to be a part of it, is Akanive.
That's the one I saw. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you start with an
Mm.
A. Yes.
yeah,
That one is
Akanive,
so
yes.
cool.
And then Designs by Della. She has been a part of the fashion show almost every year. She was part of the first fashion show, and so I'm so happy she got to be a part of it again. This is her third year being part of the fashion show.
Nice.
And then there was Plain Soul. This was her second year back of being part of the fashion show. And
Awesome.
then Any Notions. It was good to meet them. They were located down in Texas.
Oh,
Mm.
nice.
Yeah. And then there was Alex Starblanket. Uh,
Mm.
he was located in British Columbia. And so I was happy to have him, a Canadian male designer.
Yeah.
And then there was Ellie B. She's from Canada, but she's located in Wisconsin, married in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Mm.
And let's see, then there was another one. Um, Okay, LAB. Oh, Kings and Queens. And they were located in Canada as well, in Winnipeg, Canada. And yeah, it was really awesome to meet kings and queens. They
People
had
from all
some
over.
Yeah.
amazing stuff. Yeah, we had
Sweet.
designers from all over, so it was fun to get them all in. And I was thinking of something, because after every year after the fashion show, like I always think about what could have been done different, how it
Mm-hmm.
could have been better. And so I was thinking, well, maybe next year, hopefully next year, that we could start having events again and meet each other in person. But I was like, well, maybe next year I'll just start having a designer showcase virtual.
Yeah, just so anyone.
Just like one,
Yeah.
who can't make it, just
Uh-huh.
so they could still like show off their stuff. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it could
Nice.
become a tradition now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea because exactly like some people like can't travel all the way, that far or whatever, and it keeps those people involved and
Yeah.
gives people seeing all sorts of different designers from different areas. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, definitely. And especially too, I really like to have the Canadian designers a part of it. Last year I had a Canadian designer, and it was so awesome. She was
Yeah.
a fluent Cree speaker, and it
Oh,
was so good to have her there. And so I'm really glad that, I had a couple of Canadian designers again this year.
nice.
So, whenever you're like doing all of the uh, getting everything rolling and everything put together, how long does it actually take you to do that?
The
The
fashion show?
The
preparation,
fashion
yeah,
show, the
like
preparation,
Oh
and everything.
geez. Oh my God. Uh it takes every September, like if you know me, like you get put last. Like except for my job, like my family gets put last. I was enrolled in school, in my school. I even put my school last. Like I put my business last. I put everything last. Like every September, like my whole dedication is to the fashion show. Like after I get off work, I'm like working on the fashion show. This year it took, even though it was virtual, like it took a lot of thinking
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
of how I was gonna, how I was gonna put it together, how I
Yeah.
wanted it to be presented to the world, who I was gonna go to, how it was gonna be executed. Like it took like a lot of thinking, just
Mm-hmm.
like to come up with it. And then I had a short time too, because when I finally got the okay from like the council
Mm-hmm.
to have the fashion show, it was like the first week in September.
Oh
And
wow.
Mm.
so so it took like after I got the go, I was just, my mind was like, okay, I know
Gotta
it. And
go.
then yeah, and like in the past, like last year I started on working on the fashion show like a month early, like in August. When things were
Mm-hmm.
normal, you
mm-hmm.
could get things done better,
Mm-hmm.
faster. And so like every year, I usually start working on it in August. And then this year, like before pandemic, like I had a big agenda, and I actually started working on it in January and February. But then after the pandemic, that just kind of killed like all the plans and stuff. So we had
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm.
so I had to go to like a different route and think of it virtually. And so yeah, so usually it takes like my whole self, my whole everything in
Yeah.
September. Like it
Mm.
goes to the fashion show.
Yeah. I bet it's your
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah,
I
it
bet
is.
Roy's
It's my
helped you.
baby. Yeah.
um, so I guess we could move on to some other questions that we have written down.
Yeah.
So something that we like wanted to talk to our guests about is like how do you stay connected to your culture and like while also navigating through like this colonized space, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like how do you navigate between both,
Both worlds.
both worlds, I guess? Cuz that's kind of
Yeah.
a big thing that I hear a lot of natives like having to do is like walk in two worlds, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so how I navigate through colonized space or walk into worlds is, um, first of all, I like to start off like with my ancestry. My great grandma taught my grandma how to bead and sew, and my grandma taught my mom how to bead and sew,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom taught me how to bead and sew, and I'm currently teaching my son how to bead. And so I'm a fourth generation beater and sewer, and I'm passing that knowledge on to my son. And so that generational knowledge of beading and sewing in our family, it continues to live today through me and my son. And how I navigate through that I is like I continue to bead and sew like almost every day, and I remember the teachings of my family, of what was taught to me through my mom. Like I was explaining earlier, of like the dancing outfits, how my mom didn't let me wear, bright colors and be flashy. I still have those teachings, and I still use those teachings. And there, and how else I show pride, like my indigenous pride, through wearing my beaded earrings, or having like my long hair. Somehow, some shape and form, I always show my indigenous pride of who I am and what I stand for and where I come from. Um, and to live in both worlds, it could be difficult, and I I like to think that I do it very good. I do have a bachelor's degree in business administration and psychology, and and that's part of like the Western world or whatever. But also too, I've sundanced for many years, but that's something that we don't really talk about or brag about. But so I like to think that I could navigate in both worlds pretty decent, pretty good. And just from my teachings of my mom and that generational knowledge that was taught to me.
Nice. Yeah, I think you balance it well too, because I know it's like hard because, well, I don't know, maybe Tony can speak to that more.
Yeah, it definitely.
I'm not gonna like talk for people.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like showcasing yourself and showing like not being proud of who you are, and wearing your beaded earrings, wearing medallions, wearing.
He always wears his medallions.
Yeah, showing off.
Today though.
Yeah, showing off your tattoo right there. I show off my tattoos on my. Like I mean, just.
And we play stick game whenever we go to like get-togethers.
Teaching people things.
Or hand game, stick game.
Speaking up for yourself if there's any kind of racism that's happening towards natives. I mean, like around Halloween time now, definitely. Yeah. I mean, doing things like that. It's really difficult, but it's really powerful.
Yeah.
And teaching that to your son is awesome. And passing the knowledge down to the next generation. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely, and like my take is I like to teach it like with a story, or but also make it modernized to where they understand or where they're interested in it.
Yeah.
Because like we're losing our culture so fast, and our children are not learning it as fast as they should be, as fast as we're losing it. And I think one of the key is to teach it to them in a way that will make it fun, in a way that will make it to their world, to their understanding. And if you teach it to them that way, then maybe they will have an interest in it, and maybe they'll learn it, and maybe they'll continue to keep it and teach that knowledge of what they were taught, as like my son is teaching, or not teaching yet, but keeping that knowledge. And soon, hopefully, in the future, he'll be teaching it.
That was what an elder told me once, that if I learn something, if I'm told a story, if I'm taught something, it's my responsibility now to pass it on to the next generation, or pass it on to somebody who wants to know. Don't just hoard that information, and bring it, pass it forward, and keep telling them that they have to pass it forward, so it never dies.
Yeah,
and it always evolves.
Exactly.
I think I know what you're saying. Like, the culture is a lot like Cree and all the other cultures are like kind of being lost a lot, or what's the word? Fading out a little bit in different communities. But like this generation with like you and people like Tony, and I think this generation is really getting the ball rolling again really good. You know what I mean? Seems like people
Yeah.
are putting it into context more and just really being proud of who they are and like rocking their ribbon skirts and medallions and everything more and being proud of it. So like I think it's, I don't know, I have hope for the
Yeah,
future.
there is hope, but I guess for me, I would love to see it be more.
More, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
definitely.
for me, like I guess like a lot of stuff is natural to me or for
Mm-hmm.
me and my family just because of how I was raised and
Mm-hmm.
how I dedicated my life to culture preservation. And so to me it's normal, but
Mm-hmm.
to like a lot of people who live on the reservation, that's not normal.
That's
Like,
true. Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
like
Yeah.
they're not exposed to it even though they live on the reservation.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they live with elders, they're like not exposed to things like to me that would be normal
Yeah.
or that I already know that I was
Yeah.
taught. And so, so to me, I would love to see it be more. Like I would
Yeah.
love to see it be pushed on our world more.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you
Me
definitely.
see
too.
all this stuff from the Western world
Mm-hmm.
pushed on our children, TikTok, social medias, in school. I was helping my son with school today, and there was this stupid, I don't know, this stupid question about somebody who discovered Brazil. And we laughed, and I'm like, how could that dude, discover Brazil when there was indigenous people that
Yeah.
lived
Yeah.
there? So
Yeah.
all this stuff is like pushed onto our native people and our native communities. We need to push culture onto them.
Yeah.
We need to push why you should wear a ribbon skirt, why you
Yes.
should be modest, a woman should be humble. We need to push to the young men, sing your ceremony songs, practice your language, treat your woman good. None of
Mm-hmm.
that stuff is being taught in the
Yeah.
schools. And I know because my son is in school,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually taught in the schools. Like I said, I taught at local Stone Child College.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, it's not being pushed enough. There's not enough
Okay. Yeah.
awareness. There's not enough education for our people to really know who they are, to
Mm-hmm.
really be proud of who they are and where they came from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
That's true.
I
I take
completely
back what I
agree.
said now. I was kidding.
Oh,
No, but
I'm
that's really
sorry.
true.
I'm
No,
just,
no, no. Like,
yeah.
no, like that's true. Like you're
Yeah.
completely right. Like it should be way more, and like definitely.
It should
So
be because,
yeah,
I mean, how many young kids know Cardi B songs?
yeah.
Probably everybody.
Uh huh.
Okay, how many
Push.
kids know a round dance song? And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
and the only
Exactly.
way
That's
I
true.
know that is because, like I said, I took a
Me too.
van of college girls
Uh huh.
to on a trip, and we were playing games, and we were just playing games, so like road games, like
Yeah.
okay, let's rate everybody's song 1 through 10, and whoever gets the top score, they get to take over the radio. And so I won. And so I was like, okay, I was like, let's try it again. Let's all play our favorite Indian music. It could be
Mm-hmm.
any kind of Indian music.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so sad to me
Didn't know.
because most of the girls they only knew a couple of round dance songs,
Mm.
Mm.
and they didn't know any other powwow music.
Or
And I
street
was like,
songs, crew hops, or
I
anything.
was sad because they knew some crazy hip hop songs. I ain't even gonna say on this podcast, but I mean the songs they knew, I was like, dang. But they couldn't play very much Indian music, and it was open. Like Indian music could go to round dance, it could go to powwow,
Yeah.
sun dance,
Mm-hmm.
peyote, ceremony. I mean, flute music, the
Yeah.
Indian music that there's
A
a
lot.
long variety, a big range of Indian music,
Yeah.
and they could only play round dance music. And to me, that was sad, because we're talking from 19 to like 28-year-olds
Oh.
in that age range, and so that's why I said, like, our ways, they need to be pushed onto our people. They're not pushed onto our people enough. Our people are losing it, where they are losing sight of who they are. And if they had a sight of who they are, maybe that would help them. That would help them become a better person, a better mother, a better father, and respectable person in the community, and help their people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
There's got to be more opportunities out there to learn your culture and everything, and people have to be more willing to teach that knowledge too.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. A lot of people are so stingy with the knowledge. You know, it's um oh, oh sorry.
No, you're good.
It's all good.
Yeah. Um, yeah, a lot of people are so stingy with the knowledge. I know that for a fact, you know, they're always like, well, bring me tobacco, or, you know, you have to do some stuff in order to learn that knowledge and to receive it. And I even find myself being stingy with that knowledge too, you know, like people are like, oh, where did you get this material from, or where'd you get this? And you know, and me too, I don't tell them exactly or directly where I got it from. I, you know, so it is true, but I think too, to learn knowledge or to get it, like you have to go through that process. You know, when we go to school, we pay a tuition fee. When we go to school, we buy books. You know, for this knowledge, hey, I'm on a oh, sorry. For this knowledge, you know, us too, we should do something to get this knowledge. If you add up the, you know, the Western world where you pay tuition and fees, over here you buy books, and then people want this indigenous knowledge. So what are you gonna do to get this indigenous knowledge? You know, what is this right here? What are you gonna do to get that? You just can't go up there and get it. You know, like here on this side, first you got your books, and then, or first you enrolled, then after you enrolled in school, then you get your list of books, then after you get your books, then you go to the school, then your school is not even definite. Sometimes you could fail, you know, but first you have to pass in order to come up here. For over here, you know, people want this knowledge, you can't just go up here. You know, there, you, if you compare it that way, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And that's how I perceive it. If you want that knowledge, you'll find a way. You'll find a way to learn it. You'll find a person, you know, that will give it to you. I know people here that are given knowledge. I mean, I don't want to use that word given, but are teaching that, they're teaching that knowledge, and they have so much of it, and they're very happy to teach people that knowledge. So to me, you just have to find that right person, and you know, and maybe pray about it, and then you'll find it. You'll find what you're looking for.
Yeah, and there are people out there that take advantage of that philosophy, and they will teach you whatever you want, but they're not teaching it the right way. They're not teaching it. They're not teaching what they should be teaching. Or, I mean, there are proper procedures, like you're saying. I mean, offering tobacco, sitting down with somebody and talking about it and listening to what they have to say. Don't just expect it. And
just
I mean,
don't.
there's
Exactly. Yeah, that is true. There's a lot of people that take our culture, and they're indigenous too, you know, they're native too, and they abuse it and they use it in the wrong way, and that's sad, and that saddens me. And that's why I'm scared, you know, I'm scared for the future because of all those reasons, because of you know, there's that right person you have to find to learn that knowledge. And you know, and like I said, like our kids are not learning it as fast as they should be. And there's all those factors that play into it, that play into our world, our indigenous world, and how we're going to cultivate that, how we're going to keep that knowledge sacred, how we're going to keep it, passing it on to our young people, but with the right, but like with the right knowledge, like Tony was saying, not with, you know, misinterpreted stuff. And I was given this example to my boyfriend. I was saying, okay, so think 50 years from now, if I'm not here, you know, I was like, I'm just saying, you know, I'm not here from 50 years from now, but my son, you know, my great grandchildren, I guess, you know, I'll have great grandchildren by then, 50 years from now, and they see one of my beaded art pieces, or one of my pieces I sewed for instance, like this ribbon skirt, and they're like, oh, that's what, my great grandma did. And they'd probably think that there was a real traditional reason or sacred reason behind it, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, and there was not even no sacred reason behind it, because like I said, the reason is because my mom would let me use neons.
Yeah.
So, so if you think that way, and think of stuff like what people are putting out there in the world right now, and think from 50 years from now, when their great grandchildren or their children see that, what are they going to think?
Yeah.
Just like us now, how we look in these books and from the late 1800s and the early 19th century, when we see our ancestors all decorated in beadwork and quill work and buckskin, and standing there proud and strong, and we're like, wow, that was our people. And then now how we look 50 years from now, and so that's why I kind of get scared or whatever for the future. And because I'm not, from that example, I'm not giving a good example either about what my grandchildren will think of me.
Well, they just have to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, hopefully it survives.
Yeah, definitely. I'll have them come check out the podcast.
Way back when we had these things called podcasts.
Yeah. In the future, we don't know.
Have like a microchip in their head or something.
It's crazy to think about.
I know, it really is.
Yeah.
Like now I'm thinking about it, like, ooh. Well, I guess we can kind of wrap this up because we had like a lot of really good discussions. Like I'm really happy with like everything we talked about. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was really great.
Yeah. So our final question here,
Our
what do you
final
wish
question.
to let our audience know about your Indigenous culture and your community, or any final thoughts that you have to leave?
Either for like the non-Indigenous listeners or Indigenous listeners or anyone.
Both. I mean,
both, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to. What's your
like final note? Yeah.
My final notes. All right. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you to the audience for listening and taking your time out to hear this podcast. And to me, that's one step in your journey of learning about who Indigenous people are. And I'm so grateful for that, and so thankful that you have an open heart and an open mind to learning who and what Indigenous people are. And I just want to say, continue learning. And us as Indigenous people too, we need to continue learning and about who we are and how we can preserve our culture, how we could preserve our heritage. And for the non-Indigenous people, don't be scared, ask questions, reach out. If you don't know something, please reach out to an Indigenous person. And there is stuff that is not okay. Like Tony mentioned, wearing Halloween costumes of our people, there's stuff out there that is not okay. And if you feel the need to help our people, please do. We need a lot of help. There's a lot of not good stuff that happens to our tribes. Some of the stuff like the No Dapple, the pipeline, Indigenous people getting killed by police brutality, all of these issues, the MMIP, the murdered and missing Indigenous people, all of these issues are real and they're happening today to our people. And we need your help. We need your help to help us have a voice in the Western world, to help us be heard, that these are not good. This is not good for our people. This is not good for our nation. And please, please do what you can, and always keep a open heart and an open mind on our Indigenous people. We are an incredible people, and we are resilient, and we are here to stay.
I love it.
Thanks.
I guess we can Unless you have anything else you want to add, or we can get, okay.
One of the questions that I get asked is if it's okay for non-Native people to wear items or to buy items from Indigenous people. And the answer is it is okay that if you're a non-Native person, you can buy ribbon skirts or beaded earrings or ribbon shirts, just as long as it's from an authentic Native American person. You have to make sure on some of how you can tell if it's an Indigenous person is usually they'll state their tribe where they're from, or if they have a website, they'll have something on there to authenticate that they're an Indigenous person. And so the answer is yes, you can buy beaded earrings or ribbon skirts, ribbon shirts. You can buy them from Indigenous people and you can wear them. It's okay to wear them just as long as you're using them in a good way and you're not using them to make fun of the Indigenous people, or you're not using them to hurt the Indigenous people in any way. And so I just wanted to put that out there, that you could wear them and you could dress up or however, but as long as it's in a good way.
Yeah, that's definitely good to state.
Yeah.
I definitely I see that a lot too.
But don't wear it on Halloween.
Yeah,
don't wear it on
Halloween. That would be
it's not a costume.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
And if you do see people that are saying that it's a Native American regalia or
like Native inspired or something native, like that.
Whatever. Not but if they're saying that it's Native American things that are made by Native Americans and they're not Native American themselves, it is a federal offense. So report that kind of stuff if you do come across that.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, report it. And like I said, like we always need like the non-Indigenous people's help, to make sure this kind of stuff doesn't happen and to protect our rights and our responsibilities as Indigenous people.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
that was great.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Seriously,
Well, thanks for listening to Rebekah's interview. I hope you had fun. Hope you learned a lot. If you want to check out our website, it is at www.asmudgeforyourthoughts.com. You could find out where our Facebook is, our Instagram, our YouTube. If you or anyone you know would like to be on
our podcast, you can please fill out our simple form, which can be found on our website. It has also been posted on our Facebook page. You can find it on there.
Yeah, so we would like to give a shout out to Mary Kay for designing our logo and 8th Generation for our backdrop here on our videos. I mean, if you are not watching the videos, then you have no idea what we're talking about. But
you could still check out 8th Generation. They did not provide us this. This is not an ad, but we just love them. They are better than Pendleton. I don't know if I'm going to get copyrighted for that, but
they're definitely better than Pendleton.
And because they are inspired natives, not native inspired. They are a native company.
Yeah.
With great designs. Go check them out.
Unlike Pendleton.
We hate Pendleton.
I mean, still like Pendleton.
No, I'm just kidding.
Don't like what they're about, but I like their stuff.
All right. See ya.
Peace.